Hello everybody, it's the afternoon here and I'm just about to paint this hydrangea. I started locating things, and you know there's a certain point where you want to stop preempting the stuff you might end up using and just embark upon the adventure, because very often it's the things, I can feel myself kind of wanting to do a good job or something, and as soon as that starts to be the motive, then the seeing isn't so clear, you know. And I think really the main thing we can bring to something like this is our attention, you know, like without any other agenda. So I mean, we all want success, don't we? So it's a tricky one, it's a tricky one. Anyway, here goes. I was inspired by this hydrangea yesterday. I got it from my friend Fiona's, from her dad's garden. That's it there. Isn't it beautiful? And see, with the white behind it, you can see, that's why I like to have it kind of at eye level, so that you can see the shapes of the spaces between the leaves, and that makes it interesting, I think. So I've got the painting from the other day, the freesias behind it, so that it's giving me, of course you can't see it from my viewpoint, but I just thought I wanted something with a wider angle so that you can kind of see the whole setup and not just the picture. Okay, let's see. Alright, so there's this kind of tilt that way. What am I going to use now for that? I think possibly I'll start with some acrylic. So I'm going to go for, this is what's that called? Rose red. And ultramarine blue. Is it ultramarine blue? Yeah, I thought it looked a bit like cobalt there for a second. Oh, honestly, these sometimes get stuck, and so what I'm doing now is probably not a good idea, pushing down the bit that was stuck into the thing, but anyway, it's the quickest way of doing it for now. Hopefully it won't lodge back in. No, it didn't. There's a good lot of ultramarine blue there. Okay, now what will I use? I think I'm going to use a bristly brush here. This is just a really cheap old household brush, I think. I'm not sure where I got it. It's bristly. It doesn't come to a fine edge like the watercolour ones, but I like that about it. I like that it's not perfect. That it, you know, it kind of makes my marks less precious too, I reckon. Okay, so I'm looking at that colour now. Let's see. Do you know, it's actually got a kind of a combination of the two in it, so I'm not going to mix it all perfectly. Okay. Now there's a dusty, dirty kind of feel to it as well that needs to be explained before I go any further with this bright, beautiful pink. I think I want to put in some, is this burnt umber, raw umber? I want to put some raw umber in. It might seem a bit of a shame, but oh my god, look at that. I picked up a few of those this morning from the garden. Honest to God, the whole thing came out. I'm sure this is quite cheap stuff. Well, it's acrylic, it's Galleria, so actually it's a good brand really. But it's maybe just quite old, I don't know. Anyway, let's see if it'll work. Okay. You know, I just want to kind of give it to be handy now if I had a bit of scrap paper up there, just to show you. That's not scrap paper. Just to kind of show you the colours that I had a bit of a tidy up this morning, which means kind of shoving everything to one side or on top of the piano. But it does feel like it's clearer this morning. It's nice for me to have that. Important actually to have that clarity around you, a bit of clarity, a bit of space, and then you can start piling on your stuff. Now, you see that colour there? I think that's quite good. I don't know how good the colour is that you're seeing with the window behind me, but sure, we can only work with what we've got. So, right, so I'm going to use that. It's interesting, like, actually, yeah, okay. That's fine now. I was kind of considering the light and which is going to be lighter, the background or the flowers. This is a damp paper towel now, just to kind of start getting the character. Alright, and I had torn out something that I thought looked a little bit like that side of the I don't know about that. I'll keep that for an option later on, possibly. It's just a little bit thick. The paper, it's a little bit thick, so it might just stick to paint. Okay, so there's that pink, and then there's another pink here. What's that? Magenta. I just want to see if that's any different. And then I'll move on to the pot and things. So that's kind of maybe a slightly better quality acrylic. I like the brush marks going every which way because as it dries, it gives a nice texture. It's not so much a splashy flower, is it, hydrangea? Alright, I'm going to move on now to the leaves. And there's still some sap green here. It's a little bit, yeah, it's wet enough. It had a skin on it, but I've just burst the skin, so it's fine again now. So that's sap green, and I think that raw umber is a good colour to put in with it in order to create that muted thing that I like. So I'm going to place, oh, I never took my boots off. Right, it's all going to start flying now. Okay, so I wanted to just place roughly where each leaf is, and I want to get a bit more of the colour. I think a touch of ultramarine blue actually will work to make the leaves a bit more leaf-like. I think what I like to do is find the direction of growth. Gosh, it's getting big, isn't it? Find the direction of the growth and go with that. I think a bit of cadmium yellow in the lower leaves there. Could do a bit of that kind of colour about them, I reckon. Maybe not quite that yellow. Yeah, we'll see. Okay, now I put gesso on this paper earlier. It's cartridge paper, and I put a layer of gesso on it because I wanted to be able to lift off and stuff, and I won't be able to lift off for long more if I don't get moving, because actually it dries quickly. Remember that towel I had yesterday that I tore? There it is. As though you were going to help me find it. Okay, you would have been shouting, there it is, it's behind you. Okay. Right, let's see. My goodness, the heat is on now before the paint dries to get the to wipe it away. I'm just going to need to use this big piece. That's alright. It's a bit too big for me, it's a pain. I'll make it smaller. I'll get a smaller piece. I wasn't able to tear it the other way. Hey. Okay, got it. Now, what am I going to do? I'm going to paint, like lift out the paint actually in between the leaves in order to create the shapes that they're. Okay, so that one goes down that way. Because there's gesso underneath it. Let's lift that off again and put some more flower colour back on, because I want the, oh, I've used the same cloth, ah well, because I want the flowers to read as though they're overlapping the leaves and not the other way around. So that's why once I had done the leaves with a bit of, I wanted to put back something of those flowers again. If I had masking tape now I'd use it, but I don't have the masking tape. But look, I've got this stuff, the packaging tape. Let's see if this works. It might not come off when I wanted to. But what I wanted to do, what did I want to do? Oh yeah, I wanted to put it here so that the leaves wouldn't be disturbed, and I could do some fairly dynamic marks for the flowers without feeling like it was going to head into the leaves too much. That's alright. Okay, now And there's nothing too critical in the lifting off thing, because to be honest, anything that doesn't get lifted off I can always define with oil pastel or background colour for the paint. It's still lifting. Okay, and you want to have everything within fairly easy reach, within reason. Like, it's no harm for you to have a bit of a physical workout as well. You know, that's quite a good thing, to consider that you're using a full physical body here, and not only, I think that needs to be kind of maybe this colour. Oh yeah, sure, that's what's behind it. Not only your head and your hand, but full physical body. You want to engage that a whole lot. Now, why am I think I'll use this brush maybe to bring in some of that from the fuchsia painting behind, actually. So you might say it's cheating. I'm actually just simply picking up the colour I used in the painting itself and painting it on for the background here, because that's what I'm seeing behind the hydrangea. You could do it having a look at what I'm seeing maybe, but anyway, it's not going to happen unless I get a camera person behind the other shoulder. It's not going to happen today because I'm wanting to carry on. Okay, I could do with white as well, but as I said the other day, I don't think I've got any more white acrylic. At least I couldn't find it. Oh, hang on. I might have had like a small tube of it in this box here. Sorry, now bear with me. I'm finding some interesting colours in there anyway, but there isn't any white. I think my daughter needed to use it for a project. Oh, what have we got here though? There's the white acrylic ink, which actually might be quite nice to paint with. No, that background colour is overlapping the leaf where I don't want it to be overlapping the leaf. It was this purple I was getting excited about, because I think that might work for parts of the hydrangea as well. I'm afraid I'm putting out way more than I need. I need to do another painting after this one. Yeah, still not sure about collage. Right on, you come on. Okay, so I'm gonna inject some white ink. See what happens there. The white acrylic ink, yeah. So now I think that needs to be here, kind of mixed in with the lovely blue. Where did the pot of ink go? There it is. I'm putting the two together on the cloth. So there's the blue acrylic paint. Maisie, hey, come here. Come here. Come here. My goodness. She was holding on to Margo. I don't think you were being friendly there. Right. So the white and the blue together. Oh, that's nice, isn't it, in the background? Okay. Let's see now, I kind of lost my way a little bit there. See, I kind of want to get the vase in as well. I like this vase, but I'm not going to get the whole lot in. But even just to get part, well, I might get the whole lot in if I brought the leaves up a little bit. I don't think they need to be that low down in actual fact. So I'm going to paint some new leaves a little bit higher up. That's what I'll do. To repaint the leaves actually. And I'll use, I think I need a little bit more sap green into this. Don't you go after her now. Yeah, hookers, no, it's sap green actually. I was going to say it was the darker, but it wasn't. Hookers green. And I might use some ultramarine blue with it, possibly, and even the brown to make a colour that's yeah, that's fine. I'm missing the white paint a little bit, but it's not a big deal actually. And in some ways restriction is good because it stops you being complacent and just doing what you always do. I need to do something different to explain the spaces between that I love so much. And I might, if I remembered to bring the glue in, where's the glue? There it is. I thought I might use this. It'll be good now, Maisie. Okay, so it would be kind of, it would be there-ish. I'm just going to put it in and see how it goes. It's no harm to kind of do things that are going to push you in a new direction. So I'm going to get the whole out of the pot in because I want to. And it's disproportionately, it seems to be disproportionately small in relation to the hydrangea anyway. So I kind of want to, yeah, so the hydrangea is like massive in relation to it. Okay. Yeah, alright, so now I'm going to just use the acrylic ink and a bit of paper towel, I think. Do you know what, I could use I found some more of these white oil pastels, so I think I'll just go for that instead. Yeah, because we need to kind of launch in now with a bit of clarity here. So here we are, the top of the pot is about there. And I reckon it needs to be here, the edge. Yeah, and you see none of that is green, so I'll take, that's the stair gate falling over. Just use the ink to subdue that rather than use all oil pastel. And then, let's see if I might use the ink even down that side. I could draw the edge of the leaf there. That comes over into the lighter bit. And then maybe back to the oil pastel for the top of the leaf. So I'm finding the edge of things. She's gone upstairs now after the cat. Can I pause this? I wonder. Don't think I can. Bugger. I'm just going to leave it. I think like Lily's upstairs, so hopefully she'll cop on. You know, I'm not going to chance that.